A Return to the Reels, Ocean City MD Fishing Adventures by Scott Lennox, published on August 24th, 2025. As the sun shone brightly over Delmarva, with just a whisper of a breeze and the gentle embrace of autumn in the air, one couldn't help but feel the excitement building. The bustling tournament season may have come to a close, but for the charter and party boats, it's time to roll up their sleeves and get back to business. The marlin in the offshore canyons are biting fiercely, and the flounder and sea bass are eagerly awaiting their turn on the hook. Here's hoping that Mother Nature continues to smile upon us as we transition into the shoulder season. Tim Bieleski and Kevin Wimsatt ventured out to the Jackspot today, where they discovered a treasure trove of sea bass, measuring up to an impressive 19 inches. Despite a sizable swell left behind by Hurricane Erin, which gradually subsided throughout the day, the pair found themselves in good company among the few boats braving the conditions. Meanwhile, anglers aboard the Miss Kathleen, setting sail from Bahia Marina, were treated to a day filled with sea bass, bluefish and flounder. As they cast their lines over ocean structures, the thrill of the catch was palpable. Jason Sutton shared a delightful snapshot of John Reeser, who managed to reel in a double dose of flounder while fishing behind Assateague Island. Captain Monty Hawkins of the Morning Star also had a splendid day at sea, guiding his crew to success with flounder and sea bass. A day at sea is a treat in itself, with cooler air temperatures and the remnants of Erin swell fading into the horizon. Tyler, Ethan and Dawson lent a helping hand by placing reef blocks atop a new location at the Bass Grounds. With 20 blocks and 209 pyramids submerged for merely a month, it's highly likely that these artificial reefs are already teeming with life. However, the search for warmer waters proved fruitless. While the clarity of the clean green water was mesmerizing, its temperature was disappointingly low. Multiple attempts to catch mahi and sea bass met with little success, leading to a shift in focus to sea bass. In the end, David emerged victorious with the only keeper fluke of the day, narrowly beating the largest sea bass in the pool money. As the day drew to a close, the current took a surprising turn. Suddenly, the water temperature climbed by 2 degrees, causing the anchor line to slacken as the boat was gently nudged by the breeze. For those seeking tog, this change might have been a curse, but for sea bass enthusiasts, it was an opportunity to haul anchor and drift. Initially planning for a day off, I couldn't resist the allure of the sea. With yesterday's sea bass bite being the best of the summer, I decided to open up a sea bass trip for the following day. Although best bite all summer might not be the highest of bars, the fact that most anglers reached their limits on Saturday speaks volumes. The term limited hasn't been uttered much in recent months, but I'm optimistic. The stern is already booked for Monday, but the rest of the boat remains wide open for my impromptu sea bass adventure. With Shelley and Holly joining us on what promises to be a serene day, the pressure is on to deliver an unforgettable experience. To monitor the artificial reefs, I enlisted the help of Owen, a collegiate researcher and mate. Typically tasked with habitat exploration and reef monitoring, he prepared all the necessary equipment for our stalk. Armed with a scrub brush handle adorned with various GoPro-style cameras, LED lights, and a couple of pounds of lead, we set out to test for black water at the Bass Grounds. You might be wondering, what exactly is black water? Let me explain. Black water is a contemporary challenge faced by marine restoration efforts. In the bottom regions of the mid-Atlantic slows, layers of dead algae accumulate. When strong winds pass through, this algae becomes suspended, sometimes even 50 feet above the seabed. Nowadays, the lack of light penetration due to this phenomenon creates what is known as black water. This issue can be traced back to the decline of oysters, which led to an increase in nutrients in our major estuaries, With fewer natural biofilters available to cleanse the massive estuary outflows, algae thrived, turning the ocean greener. Take the white marlin fishery as an example. Before 1933, marlin sightings near surf-launched boats were unwelcome, yet common just a few miles offshore. The Jackspot, located 20 miles southeast of the Ocean City Inlet, gained worldwide fame for its white marlin fishing during the 1940s and 1960s, with occasional reports of marlin closer inshore. By the late 1970s, however, the oyster collapse had reached alarming levels. As nutrient levels soared, blue water species like marlin were forced to venture further offshore in search of suitable feeding grounds. They moved farther and farther away, until even canyon waters 55+ miles offshore were no longer sufficient to find favorable conditions. Today, anglers often travel in faster, larger, and more luxurious boats, sometimes exceeding 100 miles in pursuit of billfish. Yet, there are stories of fishermen who enjoyed productive fishing within a mere 10 miles of shore. Approximately 15 years ago, Maryland came to the realization that it could no longer supply enough shell for oyster restoration projects. After centuries of trying, no one could claim to have successfully restored an oyster bar or reef using only shell as a substrate. While some areas have become harvestable, albeit at significantly reduced levels compared to the historical oyster fishery, the restoration of ecosystem services remains elusive. In a bid to overcome this obstacle, restorationists turn to rock as a viable alternative. Unlike shell, rock does not lie flat and accumulate silt. Instead, it offers vertical surfaces akin to natural oyster bars, where spat can attach and mature. Once the oysters reach maturity, they reproduce, perpetuating the cycle of restoration. Reviving the ocean's blue hues will require a monumental effort, involving countless loads of rock. However, the groundwork has been laid, and progress is underway. Here's to a brighter future for the Mid-Atlantic's marine ecosystems. Monty,